The only parenting advice you really need. Thousands of experts worldwide agree. It pretty much boils down to this. When it comes to child rearing and family life, all parents strive to figure out how the relationship between themselves and their offspring can become ideal. Keep in mind, the parent child relationship is a two-way street. In other words, it is actually a partnership between the parents and their child. Find out how to help your young ones become confident and successful adults. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm doing fantastic today. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka, and let's roll. Today, I want to talk to you about the only parenting advice you really need. Number one, let your kids fail. I mean, a lot of parents have the reflex of protecting their kids and overprotecting their kids. But if the child has to learn self-sufficiency, he or she needs to occasionally dust himself or herself. And I'm talking here about dusting themselves off literally and figuratively without your help. Your child cannot go through life and be strong and be sturdy and have a strong form of resilience if you are constantly protecting him or her. All right. So remember, the long-term benefits. I'm talking about a teenager who knows, for instance, how to do his own laundry, for example, trump momentary discomfort. You might be thinking, oh, wow, the child is suffering right now. No, you got to think about the long-term benefits. If you want your child to be great, to be a great adult who knows how to cook, for example, who knows how to dust, who knows how to do some household chores, you need to let them go through the difficult moments now, right? So if the child is struggling, before you rush in to help with any physical task, ask yourself, is my child in real danger here? Or is he or she just struggling temporarily? So if you want to have your child to be equipped with dexterity, with balance, with confidence, with self-confidence, these things are not given, they're earned. You yourself who is listening to me right now as a parent, you got to go through a lot of stuff to earn the kind of balance you have now, the kind of sturdiness you have now, the kind of resilience, persistence, determination. All those things came because you were allowed to fail. You were allowed to go through some stuff. You were allowed to go through some hard stuff. Number two, let them read what they want. Please back off your children and allow them to indulge in literary exploration, to indulge in intellectual exploration. Allow them to really understand, to learn things on their own. I'm not saying here just to give them some kind of 100% authorization on anything. No, there has to be some limit on what they're allowed to read. I'm not, nobody wants their children to start reading adult content. No, but within the realm of possibilities, within the realm of things that are good to read, allow them to read what they want. Don't impose on the child what you want them to read. So kids who read for pleasure excel academically, not only in language arts, but also in math, in design, in technology. So while you wish you would pick up, you wish you would raise the next Einstein, for example, but it doesn't matter if he or she is reading a graphic novel or a technology novel, right? Number three, show brave behavior. Don't just tell. It is very important that if you want your child to be a successful and self-confident adult, not to say things to him or her, but to do it. Because children learn through visual. They like to live things. If you want your child to be a strong and courageous man or woman in the future, try it yourself as a parent to be courageous. If you want the child to be neat and to pay attention to hygiene, personal hygiene, start by paying attention to your personal hygiene. A lot of adults won't go to a movie solo because they would be embarrassed to be sitting alone, right? And then later on, when their child is exhibiting the same behavior, they're just surprised. No, the child has just learned from you what you have taught him or her over those years. So please show The brave behavior, just don't tell. Don't just tell. Number 4, don't compromise over bedtime. Never, 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 never. When it comes to bedtime, you want to instill in this child the cornerstone of a strong, disciplined life. And you need that. Once they're old enough, they can choose, but the foundation has to be strong. So bedtime is one of those things that you don't want to compromise over. Similar to brushing your teeth, right? You want the child to, it has to be ingrained in their brain. It has to be ingrained in their mind that certain things are not, you cannot compromise on certain things. All right. So those things are not debatable. It has to be part of the routine. And the thing here is that you want again to instill that sacrifice in the child. If it's 9 o'clock that he or she has to go to bed, it has to be 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. every single day. If it is 8 p.m., it has to be 8 p.m. every single day. Maybe sometimes over the weekends or during the holidays, you might be a little bit flexible, but during normal weekdays, never compromise over bedtime. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're also having a conversation today around the only parenting advice you really need. And if you love the clarity and quality of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you are informed in real time whenever we drop a new show. And we do this every single day, rain or shine. Comment below, let us know your own experience when it comes to parenting. If you are an adult or even if you are a teenager, we want you to share with us what kind of relationship you have with your parents and what kind of a parenting style you yourself would like to have in the future. Like this content if you believe we're adding value to your life and the lives of those you care about, and share. Number 5, never pay your kids to clean their rooms. This is a big no-no. Never correlate dollar for dollar their allowance to everyday chores. The kids have to understand that chores is something they have to do. It's just part of life. If you accustom your child to getting money for doing her or his chores, in the future, if that money is not coming, he or she is not doing it. You can give your child an allowance as an introduction to money management and possibly for overall good behavior, not as a payment for doing their chores. Because doing chores is part of personal hygiene. And you're not actually asking your child, for example, if, I'm not going to give a very sort of gross example here, but you're not asking your child to, you're not paying your child to brush his or her teeth or cleaning his or her armpits. No. So everyday chores are part of the continuum of personal hygiene procedures that every decent human being living in a normal society should take care of. Be extra careful around age 14. Now, this is a threshold age around which most kids start to resist peer influence, and they will really sort of like, they love the think for myself muscle. They really like to be a leader. They don't want to follow anybody anymore. So you might get into a little bit of trouble as an authority figure, as a parent around that age. So you have to be very flexible. You have to be very careful. Be aware of that. Anticipate that so you can change your instructions to change your parenting around that. Right? In other words, you are more present. You talk with them more. You kind of ask them what's going on in school, what's going on hormonally, right? That's the 14 is around also the puberty. That's where you have the puberty. Some kids have it a little early, especially girls, but you want to have that kind of conversation. What kind of hormonal changes that are happening in their body. For women, for girls, they start having periods. For boys, they start having all the external manifestations of hormonal changes within their body. So those are things that you want to pay attention to around the phallus, for example, around they start having pubic hair, all that kind of stuff. You want to have a conversation, a clear conversation, an honest conversation around those things. Number 7, you want to be strict with homework. The same level of strictness you have with bedtime, you want to apply that also with homework. Now, homework is important. It's not just about the homework, it's about the discipline and persistent and challenging environment that it provides the future adult that your child is going to become. So you want to be strict with that. In other words, if the child wants to watch TV or do anything, he or she has to do homework first. Homework first, and anything comes thereafter. If she wants to play Nintendo or want to play or want to watch a movie or whatever, this should be seen, this should be construed as a reward for having done his or her homework. Never compromise on homework. You do this, you are sending your child to the wrong train destination. The foundation of future success is based on hours, days, weeks, months, years of homework and intellectual practice. And intellectual practice and mastery comes from doing homework, partially at least. Number 8, nurture and rewards acts of kindness on a daily basis. If you want to instill some kind of a altruistic ability in your child, you want to flex their karma muscle, reward those acts of kindness. You don't have to wait for a specific day or a specific period, or like around Thanksgiving where you have families start giving candies to their children and tell them to distribute it to other people and say, oh, I've done an act of kindness. No, you want this to be part of everyday life. This should be a routine. Kindness and generosity, not just for children, for everybody in general, should be a daily exercise, a daily pursuit, a daily enterprise. All right, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We're also having a conversation here around the only parenting advice you really need. Let me continue here. Always take care of your own self first. I really want to emphasize this topic here. When you are in a plane and they're explaining to you the safety measures to adopt if there is an emergency, and the flight attendants always say, put on your own oxygen mask first. That metaphor applies perfectly to the parenting environment. You want to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you cannot be a fully engaged parent. So parents who deprive themselves of rest, food, or fun for the sake of their kids, they do no one a favor, because the people feel guilty when they're at work a lot, so they want to give all their free time to their kids. That's not a good thing, because the kids will feel it and you will feel it. And this is a loss, right? Because you risk getting squeezed dry and emotionally exhausted. So you want to take time for yourself on a daily basis. I'm not saying take vacation or 2 weeks vacation and just drop your kid and leave your kids alone. What I'm saying here is that you want to adapt to your daily routine and find some quality time for yourself during a day. It could be 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, where you're just taking care of yourself. Enforce the eat what you are presented rule. This is a very important. Eat what you presented rule. Whatever you have on the dinner table, that's what you eat. Don't try to start having children choose their menu. You're not a restaurant. Your household, as a parent, your household is not a restaurant. The last thing you want is to have a TripAdvisor, a 2-star or 1-star TripAdvisor review about how you run your business. No, you're not a restaurant. You're not an eatery. You're not a McDonald's, whatever. You are working hard. You are raising your children, and your job is to make sure that they are nourished. That their diet is balanced and they are nourished. Not that you don't have to start buying like a caviar and trying to make no. You want to enforce that rule. Everything that's on the table, everybody eats. What daddy is eating, what daddy is eating, that's what all the family is eating. What mommy is eating, that's what all the kids are eating. Right? That way, your child can eat just the pasta and the peas and get protein from the milk, if that's what you have on the table. That way, you're able to control your food budget. You're able to control your grocery budget. You're not going to start having conversations around who wants what and where. No. Now, having said that, you may have an exception to the rule, and this could be around the holidays or around the child's birthday. On that occasion, you can ask him or her what he or she wants to eat, and this could be a treat. And this makes sense because it happens once in a year, right? Next, in times of crisis, you want to always speak with a low, soothing tone. You want to speak in a soothing tone to get little kids to be quiet. You want to lower your voice instead of raising it. This forces kids to focus. Anytime you speak with a low tone, if you want to hear what you are doing or you want the kids to pay attention to you, lower your voice and be soothing. Especially around age 14, when the hormones are just messing them up, or they just have to cope with a lot of stuff happening emotionally, physically, psychologically. You want to lower your voice, lower your tone. Don't ever get into a pitch competition with your child around that age. The next one, be fair when reprimanding or rewarding. When you reprimand or reward your children, make sure that you are always fair. You need to explain why someone is being rewarded or reprimanded. You want to lay out acts that merit rewards and those that do not. So whenever reprimanding or rewarding, always communicate with children and ask them if they have something to say. This might sound a little crazy, but it is true. You want the child to understand why he or she is being reprimanded, so you can ask him or her her opinion or his opinion, right? And you might be very surprised of what they tell you sometimes. If you ask them, why do you think I'm doing this to you, or why do you think I'm cutting your TV time, or why do you think I'm cutting your Nintendo time? And if they say, listen, this is because I did something I shouldn't have done, then they understand why they were being reprimanded. And same applies for being rewarded. All right. So this is it, folks. The only parenting advice you really need. I'm giving you a recap here. Let your kids fail. Let them read what they want, for God's sake. Show brave behavior. Don't just tell. Don't compromise over bedtime. Never pay your kids to clean their rooms. Be extra careful around age 14. Be strict with homework. Nurture and reward acts of kindness on a daily basis. Always take care of your own self first. Enforce the eat what you are presented rule. In times of crisis, speak with a low, soothing tone. Be fair when reprimanding or rewarding. I'll talk to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.